Hi everyone, I thought it was about time to do a status update on what's happening inside of CodersTrust. So instead of writing a long email, I'm gonna do this video presentation where I'm gonna show you some slides and I'm gonna go through some of the online tools to show you what's happening inside of CodersTrust. And what I'll show you is essentially a walkthrough of the process in CodersTrust from A to Z. So first of all, it's the marketing funnel, and as you can see on this slide, we have the process where we're acquiring the students at the moment with Facebook advertising, and then they go to a landing page. Then we do a lot of follow-up. We have students counseling session, and then down here they sign up, where we take all their information, and at the end of the day they do the payment. So this is currently the marketing flow besides the local student seminars that are happening at the universities. So if you look over here, currently the status of the marketing campaigns is that there's an average of 4,500 clicks a day coming from Facebook, which is 0.1 Danish kroner per click. And throughout the funnel, it's 150 signups down here, and 30 registered users and approximately 10 paying customers a day. So right now a customer is approximately $7 to acquire, but I'll go through that in details later. And then I like to go and show you the tools throughout the process, what happens after a student have been acquired. And as you can see here, we have the user acquisition with Facebook as the main marketing channel. They sign up in the sign up process, and from there they either go to the intro course, or the basic course, or the advanced course. Then there's the trial and selection period, and then they need to choose the financing method, and then they go into the learning period where they are following the courses. And once they completed the course, they go into the intensive earning and repayment period. So right now these two phases are more or less converging. But of course, in the first phase, in the learning period, the emphasis is more on learning than earning. So what I'll do is that I'll just jump into the browser, and more or less the browser has become the operating system for everything in CodersTrust. So the way at least I've organized it is that I have all these links up here. So as shortcuts. So here is the email. We use Slack for communication. So in here we have all the different people and different channels, and I can communicate with everyone on the team. Then we use Trello for project management, so we can always get an update on who's doing what. Then we're using Upwork to hire our external workforce. So these are all the jobs that are currently being posted. And here you can see who's on a contract on Upwork and how much they worked. So for example, our virtual assistant here, we can go in and click on him, and I'll be able to see, I can see that he spent $16, and I can go into the work diary and I can see what he's been working on. So right now he's working on marketing data and setting up a streak pipeline for our B2B campaign to acquire freelance portals to be a part of CodersTrust, where our students can apply for jobs. So as I mentioned, at the top of the funnel we have Facebook. So this is our advertising account for Facebook. So right now, for the last 3 days, we've set it on hold, but as you can see here, we spend on average 1,000 kroners a day on marketing. So if we go down to the different campaigns, we can see here that let me just check. If we go to this one, this is a direct campaign targeted everyone in Bangladesh within our target demographics. So it's mostly students that are either at the university or it's existing freelancers. And so as you can see here, it was approximately, there's 10,000 clicks that was generated from this campaign, and the cost per click was 0.13. So that's a pretty efficient conversion rate, and that's a pretty good acquisition cost. At the same time, we've been doing a promotion of the Facebook page, which has increased our likes, so our reach, how many users within the target demographics we're able to reach, and we've grown the numbers of likes from approximately 25,000 to more than 80,000. So that's some pretty good growth rates. So from this campaign, I can just show you exactly how the campaign, what it looks like. If I go in here you can see the targeting, and if we just wait a second, we'll be able to see the exact copy and image, etc. of this advertising. So this is the targeting. It's everyone in Dhaka, age 18 to 14. So right now we're differentiating. We have some campaigns targeted men and some campaigns targeted women. So of course you can get access to this advertising account if you want to go more into depth with it. So, but at the end of the day, this advertising is converting users over to a landing page. So of course we have, as I showed you on the slide here, we have our own website, but right now from Facebook we're converting it over to customized landing page and campaign landing pages from Unbounce. So Unbounce is a simple tool where we can generate custom landing pages. So right now we have different landing pages for Bangladesh, and we also have different landing pages for India. So for example, here is one landing page, and I can just show you what it looks like live. So this is CodersTrust Bangladesh. Then there's a video, and then they can sign up and they can read more about it. And then from Unbounce, we can go in and edit the landing page and make sure that it's converting. So right now the first step is really to capture their basic information, such as email and phone number, because then we can retarget them with an email, or we can retarget them on Facebook and they can go into a Facebook page, etc., and learn more about CodersTrust. So this Unbounce is really a very, very simple tool. We can just essentially change the text in here like this, and then we just save the changes, and then the landing page is up to date once it's been published. Okay, so that was the Facebook advertising and the landing pages and how we capture the students. Then we go down to the sign up process. So at the end of the day, we want them to sign up to CodersTrust, which is on this URL, signup.codertrust.com. So when they get to this point, we ask a lot from the students. So they create a new account, and I'll have to put in my credentials here. Like this. So emails has already been taken, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to and from here I can select my I receive an email instantly, and I can select my Learn and Earn Center. Actually I cannot, so what I do is I print a screen and I'll go in and I'll write that to Pavel. Okay, I'm jumping back in here. So I just wrote our developer, how come I didn't see any images when I tried to sign up? But then I get the response that it's because we're not really providing any courses when I'm from Denmark. So we detect the IP address, and unfortunately we don't have any Earn and Learn centers yet in Denmark. So that's why I was not able to sign up. So at least I got an answer on that. But so what happens here is that you go through a process and you link up all your account as you know it. And then what we're able to do is that from our backend admin, we're able to see all the data. So what you see here is the CodersTrust backend admin system. And you can see that right now we have 5,563 registered users, 930 completed their profile totally. 772 is qualified students. And right now, there's been selected 172 for batch 2. And then here's this breakup of the student from the different regions. And then if I go into students and I see all students, then I'm able to see who signed up. So as you can see, I just signed up now and I gave my email address. And here you can see who signed up today. So this is the 28th of October. So as you saw, the Facebook advertisement is not running, but we still got like 10, 11 signups. And the 27th, we got maybe 5 signups. But as you can see here, the 25th and or at least the 24th here, where the Facebook was going, there was a huge amount of signups. And from here we can go in and see the individual student. So let's see this guy who signed up for full web development, front and back end on the free model. So he did fill in some of the information, but we're still missing a lot of information on this particular students. So that's essentially how we're able to see who registered. So right now, of course, one of the main conversion is whether the students actually pay the upfront fee, and I'm able to see that in right now, because we don't, like in Bangladesh, it's you don't really pay using a credit card. So there's not a lot of students that has a credit card that would enable them to pay online. So they either go to the office to pay, or they pay through Bcash. And our accountant, Misan, he made this sheet where we have an overview of all the students that have paid. So here you can see their name, and you can see the student's number ID, and which batch number they're on, and what they've paid and how they paid. So in here I'm able to see that the money spent on Facebook, I can see that they convert on the landing page. I can see if we have to follow up on them on email. I can see if they registered through the process. And I can see at the end of the day if they paid. Of course, this process could be like much more streamlined, etc. But now you kind of have a basic overview of the process. And furthermore, I can go in and I can get an overview of the CodersTrust budget and how the money is being spent at the moment. So in this sheet, there's a full overview of the cost for the different section, salary, office cost, etc., 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 cost related to the mentor, etc. And then there's an overview here of the revenue trends on how much we're earning and where the different earnings come from. So right now, the UNDP project is by far the biggest income at the moment, and right now the student deposit, the blue one, is the second biggest one. Furthermore, there's an overview of revenue and expenses. So the yellow here is the actual revenue, and I can correlate that with projected, etc. And this one is the expenses. So I have the overview up here in numbers, and I have can see it as a graph here. So of course, staff cost is by far the biggest expense. Marketing cost as the second, and then there's the expatriate cost of having people deployed into Bangladesh. So this is the different cost structure. Furthermore, this is the overview of how we're funding the operation. So as you can see here, we've been sending money from CodersTrust Global down to CodersTrust Bangladesh. So this is the overview of the money that's been funneled in. And then one last thing I'd like to give you an update on is that we're currently trying to aggregate all information into one combined business plan. So you most likely already seen the pitch deck, which kind of summarize the core business idea, strategy, and the financials. But right now we're trying to outline the core idea in a narrative as a written business plan. So in this link, we're trying to get everyone involved in writing each part of, or writing the marketing guys are writing their part, and the mentors are writing their parts, etc., etc., so that we have one shared document where we can, from where we can develop the business. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the document. Of course, there's an executive summary with the key numbers and finances, and then we have our track record so far in terms of the funding and the different valuation that's gone up. So right now the target is to onboard 300 students a month, and once we do a Series A, we're gonna go for these targets. So instead of onboarding 300 students, we aim to onboard 1,000 students a month. So you know the general pitch. So of course, one of the most important thing is that we're building on top of the freelance market. What I think is interesting in terms of the market is that Upwork is not the only freelance marketplace where we can get jobs for our students. So if you look at this this illustration right here, you can see that in terms of aggregate spent on these portals, so over 100 millions, there are 1 to 2. But there in this is a second category where it's from 25 million to 100 million. So the long tail of freelance markets, there are actually between 8 to 10. So as you would imagine, it would be very hard for the individual freelancers to sit on all these 10, 12 portals and make sure that he got the job that was the exact fit for him. So there's a big opportunity and work for us to ensure that we can scan the market for different freelance tasks on these different portals and then deliver it in one unified feed for the students. And as you can see, there's an even bigger market for small niche portals where it's below 25 million in aggregate spending. So this is the long tail, but it just is. I think it's a very important point that there's more than 150 freelance portals, and I think that's a huge opportunity for CodersTrust. Then there's of course a bigger market description. There's a description of the CodersTrust core concept. There's a description of how our courses ties into the freelance market. So in our introduction course, we take people from that has not yet been onboarded, and we onboarded on the freelance market. The basis course take freelancers just started and give them just upgrade their skills so they come up to this category. And then the advanced course is to take existing coding freelancers and specialize them in a different specific technology. And of course, then in the business plan, there's also a description of the core technology behind CodersTrust, the educational technologies, the fintech, and the work tech, which is illustrated and has previously been separated into different pitch tech, but with this document we try to aggregate everything. And then another thing is that what we're really trying to do is to make our API driven business. So a traditional business would have a core business, and then you would hierarchically organize your different sections. But right now, our core is student finance and the ability to make credit scoring and then provide student loans for online education to freelancers. And based on that core, we try to integrate all our different sections based on this core API. And that really enabled us to make a lot of business development based on APIs and connect up with companies such as Upwork based on their API, instead of sitting and doing long talks and writing memorandum and meeting them 10 times. So I think it's very important for the people that might not be in tech. They usually ask me, but do you have an actual agreement with Upwork, etc.? But in the world of the internet right now, everything is based on APIs, and as long as you have access to the API, which Upwork like more or less gives you very, very openly, then you can pull in all the data and you can essentially manage all the features from their APIs. So I think it's very important to highlight this in the business model or in the business plan for people to truly understand how CodersTrust at the core is organized. And that really gives just an example for the educational content. So traditional educational content was something that was delivered on print, in paper, etc. But now we can pull in all that content based on standardized APIs and make that available from our website. And then there's a description of the CodersTrust profile, how we show progress, etc., etc. And then if we scroll down here, we of course have some ideas on how we're going to improve our educational technologies over time. One of the core aspects I believe that we need to get really good at is not just gamification in our education in terms of giving rewards and actually paying out the student finance based on educational progress. But I also think simulation and simulating the freelance workplace and the labor market for the students, so he has a safe environment where he can make all the mistakes, etc. I think that's going to be vital, and I think that's going to be a way for us to lower the cost and train more people very, very efficiently. So what you have here is kind of a framework on how we would do simulation. So at the middle you have the student, and he has access to all the different resources in the e-learning center. And then right now we're tracking him based on different tools. So we're tracking him with Codacy, which is this simple, which is an automated code review system. So we're able to evaluate the quality of his code. Furthermore, we're evaluating, or we're tracking how he spent his time with time tracking tools such as WorkSnaps. Same thing with GitHub. And that all that information essentially goes into a dashboard. And at the end of the day, it's the performance on the freelance markets that is our, the ultimate thing that we measure our students on. But what will be one of the focal points going forward is the simulation we'll be able to do in front of the students and simulate different freelance tasks as if it was actually jobs on the different freelance portals. And we were able to do that with a freelance simulator that are going to make storylines that communicate to the students through Skype, through email, through Upwork, and through the project management tools. So that the students is essentially just sitting with his traditional online tools, and we have a story line engine, a simulator that simulate an actual customer. And in that way, we're able to test the students and make sure that they are qualified before we actually set them loose on the real freelance market where it's a real paying customer. So I think simulation is going to be a main factor and be key to drive down the cost and increase our efficiency. Then there's of course the fintech on how we're constantly trying to improve our data and our credit scoring system. But also in terms of the overall architecture, the idea ultimately is to have our students be at the center and then have all different kind of services delivered or offered to the student through an API. Then of course we have the Payoneer setup on how we capture money and pay it out. And in this document there's a full description on how that actually works. And I think it's worth reading also in terms of the compliance that goes behind these money transfers, how funds can channel money through the banks and through Payoneer, and how that ends up with a prepaid debit card to the students, and how it's then captured again from the freelance portals. So I think in this document you'll find a very elaborate and very comprehensive overview of the technical solution behind CodersTrust. Then of course there's something on the work side. Then there's the marketing that I already showed you. And from here there's then a business case for CodersTrust Global in terms of our graduate program on how we deploy people. And then at the end there's a business case for the individual companies, so CodersTrust Bangladesh and CodersTrust India, and now CodersTrust Kenya, managed by Leo at the moment, who will go there in 2 weeks. So I'll make sure to provide you the links in this docs, but hopefully this summer have given you kind of an overview of the A to Z process, from how we acquire students, how we retarget them if we're not really able to get them through the funnel, how we capture the information in the sign-up process, how we have the backend system to then manage them, and how we then take them through the trial period, how they go in and enroll in a course, and then how we capture the money from the freelance sites. So I know that this might be like slightly longer update than it was supposed to, but I'll try to make it more brief. But now you kind of have an idea and overview. All right, take care. Bye.